ABC 26 Sports with Adam Norris, getting answers.
Yesterday's announcement that a group of Oklahoma City investors had agreed to buy the financially struggling Seattle Supersonics sent tremors from the Pacific Northwest to the Sooner State and down to the Bayou. Oklahoma City businessman Clay Bennett was the leader of a group that tried to buy a minority stake in the Hornets. Now he owns the Sonics, and George Shinn says that has no bearing on the Hornets' future in New Orleans.
That hasn't changed our plans one bit, and I made that clear in Oklahoma yesterday, and I'm making it clear here that we had a clear plan to begin with. We're still on track, and everything is moving in the right direction.
Shinn says he's in discussions with potential minority investor groups in both Oklahoma City and New Orleans, but he says the talks with the New Orleans group are much more advanced. With the new roof and the Superdome finished, workers can now get focused on getting the rest of the building ready for football in September. Here's some pictures of the work in progress. Of course, right now it's all white. The $32.5 million job came in 7 weeks ahead of schedule, which means workers will remain dry while they finish the job. The next big project is setting up the scoreboard and video displays. But the biggest piece of the puzzle was the roof.
We're very happy about that. We've been very concerned about this roof all along. We did not want to enter the peak of the hurricane season with an unfinished roof and be afraid that we could sustain water damage or wind damage up there that would really set us back.
The field will be the last major piece to be put in place. That will be installed about September 10th. The Saints open up at home against the Falcons on the 25th. After a grueling stage in the Alps, American Floyd Landis is likely singing "The Hills Are Alive" with the sound of mucus. Landis lost the overall lead in the Tour de France and likely all chances of winning the race. He started the day with the yellow jersey, but languished in the mountains. Landis went from 1st to 11th in the overall standings, more than 8 minutes off the pace. Afterward, Landis said, quote, "I don't expect to win the Tour at this point." Spain's Oscar Pereiro is now your overall leader. Just because the weather doesn't cooperate doesn't mean the fish won't too. Let's head outdoors with Don Dubuque.
A question people ask all the time, do fish bite in the rain? I think we're going to find out the answer today. Offshore species like toothy sharks, hard-fighting amberjack from down deep, big mangrove snapper, and huge red snapper can sometimes be turned on by a falling barometer triggered by approaching bad weather. Captain Dave Harrelson says sometimes you can run, but you can't hide.
Sometimes they'll come in, they'll be 12, 15, 20 miles wide, and if you try to work around them or run around them, you're going to spend all day running, less time fishing.
That's when not light rain, not steady rain and bouncy waves, or even torrential rains can stop the diehards from pulling them up from the deep.
Sometimes you can't work around them, you know. Sometimes you just got to sit there and fish through them.
Even in July, wind-blown rain can be bone-chilling 1 minute, and it's back to hot, sweltering sunshine the next. All right, now there's two things you can count on when you go fishing in the Gulf. One, the weather can get nice just as fast as it can get nasty, and the fish will bite no matter what the weather is. It's a nice lane snapper. I'm Don Dubuque for ABC 26 Sports.
Neither rain nor snow, Don will always catch something. Now, getting back to the Hornets, most people assume when the Oklahoma City group bought the Sonics that eventually they'll end up in Oklahoma City, and so the Hornets are really going to have to make a go of it here in New Orleans because there's no fallback. George Shinn says that's not his plan. He's always intended to come back to New Orleans, and he's sticking to it. That was his line today. So says George.
Right. By the way, a Big Ten score for you, the big yuck factor that you just brought into your sportscast.
With the inclusion of the word mucus, you like that one, Liz?
I think you've just all told us not to have dinner.
It's the Tour de France. It's hard.
Yeah. Creative writing, courtesy of Adam Norris, every day. Thank